Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody.
What's up?
Welcome to the 107th Recovery Freedom Rising podcast. My first house I grew up in was 107 Riverside. So this is like a special episode here, and it's special because it's me and my co-host Andrew Norman.
Love you, man.
Today's topic has got a couple good facets. We don't see what we have until it's gone, and gratitude in every instance. Would you like to share what these things mean to you, Andrew, and why you're happy to be my bro on the show today?
First off, 107. I don't believe you. That's crazy. And I love you, man. And the gratitude in all moments. I live by that line. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. I want to talk about you don't know what you got till it's gone. There's a lot of spins on that. When I really started thinking about that, Milan, first off, I love you and I'm grateful for you, man. You have really become a beautiful part of my life, man. And I can't share enough time with you because every time I'm with you, man, we really just hit it off and we really help each other out, man. We do see each other a lot on this podcast, but it's a lot more than that, man. I talk to this man, we talk a lot, and I've never met this man. I've never met this dude. And so I'm just grateful for you and what you brought to my life, and thank you.
Anybody who says distance relationships don't work don't know our brotherhood.
Look at the love, man. Come on, man. So in the context of recovering, coming out of addiction, it really, when I started thinking about it, Milan, it puts the emphasis on our new relationships, right? Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about, if we lost something, how we reeled back from that, but it's about our newfound relationships and putting an emphasis on how important they are in our life now, and the relationships that we come into now, like the one I have with you, and the newfound relationships we have with those family members that we might have wronged in our active addiction, right? And then having a found appreciation for it, like a post, like in recovery, it's a whole different appreciation for the things that you still have, because when you lose them, how important they are to you finally, because you're not loaded, you're not you're healthy. It's kind of how we should have looked at this the whole time. Let's say we weren't on drugs, we would have had some of this in our life, but hey, we are who we are, right? I don't regret anything, because today I know exactly where I'm at. I know what my problem is. And I'm so grateful to be where I'm at today. And they say a grateful addict doesn't use, we say that a lot on here, but it's true. It's very true, man. If you're grateful to be in a position of being a recovering addict, free from the grips of active addiction, and having a choice to do what you want to do in the morning, and to feel your feelings, and to process them, and be an upstanding person in society, yeah, sign me up, so this is a really big deal. We've got a lot of good questions, I know, that you and I will go back and forth on, but opening this up to just being a grateful addict. A grateful addict doesn't use. I am so fucking grateful to know who I am today as an addict, and know what my problem is, and know what I have to do going forward, to make myself better, to live with spiritual principles. I've hit on this a little bit before. I don't see a lot of people that are not in a 12-step fellowship, Milan, that are not working consistent spiritual principles on a daily basis, without having to think, process their way in them, or making a bad decision and reeling back from it, right? I don't see it a lot. And those people are very special. And I always try to tap into those people, outside of the rooms. I try to tap into those people that I see, because I know there's something going on spiritual with them. Good things spawn good things, bad things spawn bad things. I'm trying to stay in that upward trajectory. And so, I'm staying grateful for everything. I do know that you don't know what you have till it's gone. And being in recovery and being clean headed now really allows me to have a real grasp on what that saying means, and to have a new appreciation for it. So pass it to you, bro.
Boom, man. That was a lot. I was unpacking while I was listening right there. You know, there is so much inside these two things. I feel like today we're not even going to scratch the surface and really get to
No.
look into the heart of the diamond of it all. But you know, I do think we will scratch the surface, and scratching I will go. You know, we don't see what we have until it's gone. Now, this one, even just that part, we can look at it like, you know, the things we've lost in our addiction. But it's also, though, we see what we have once the delusions of the addiction are gone. You know, like there's so many parts of myself that I had masked with intoxication and delusion and my emotional amplification in order to use that. You know, like I remember going into treatment and them saying, you know, addicts are self-centered. And I was like, I don't think I'm very self-centered. And then the
You're
whole day
self-centered.
then the whole day became about me in my little hissy crappy fit, you know. And so there's a pretty big side to that I don't think I saw who I was until the drugs were gone, you know. And that was a big part of it. And then, you know, the gratitude in every instance, that was kind of like sparked inside me. I don't know if you remember. I think it was me, you, and Brandy. Maybe Coulter was there. It was like embracing the constant state of change, and it was about acceptance. And
Yeah.
I remember seeing that quote and being like, "Wow! Like, can you imagine that take being getting to that point where
Yeah.
you're embracing all the constant state of change, and that really, that embracing gratitude, embracing whichever you want to call it, it's, you know, it's definitely not fighting the constant state of change or struggling my way through it or powering through, you know. And you know, and then that led, you know, like just those few podcasts kind of led up to that fateful day, the great resurrender of March 2025 with Mr. Tommy Smith. And that
A
was,
man.
yeah, like that was just like a real, like it was like Dukes of Hazzard. I was like
Shift
sliding,
change.
taking
Shift
shift
change.
change to going down the side road, and that. Then also at that point, it was like shortly after that, I met this lady Laura, who really does a fabulous job, like practicing gratitude in all instances, and then implementing that into my prayer. It's like just been this constant evolution of my perception of gratitude, gratitude as a tool, like, you know, and then just my relationship with the external world because of that, you
That's
know. And
beautiful.
and I think I'll leave that there because I'm sure we got some fun questions.
We do, man. We do. We do.
Yeah,
You want me to start? You want me to start off with the questions?
yeah, why not?
And I was gonna piggyback on what you said because the great, like a great, when you see somebody that is truly grateful in every moment, like you can see it
Yeah,
on their face, you can hear it in their voice, right? Those people
yeah.
will just attract good things to them,
Hmm.
right? You know, they don't, you know, good attracts good, you know, gratitude attracts more gratitude. Um, all right, cool. So, what are some small everyday things in your recovery that you took for granted at first, but now deeply appreciate? And how did your perspective shift?
You know, one of the things I think, like right off the top, the very first thing that comes into my mind is the survival of the program due to sponsorship. You know, like I thought, oh yeah, it's kind of nice. You know, sponsor. I kind of struggled getting my first sponsor. I kind of struggled in the period between my two sponsors. And I didn't really see until it was sometime like late last summer where I was like, this program would die within, like, this program would become nothing within a couple years without sponsorship. Because if everybody was just reading the book in their own self centered way and trying to interpret and use the steps from there, the steps would quickly become very maladjusted, and all of that sort of wisdom that's getting passed along that really is the service and the survivorship of these programs, you know, would be gone.
Yeah, man.
And so that is, I would say that I'm infinitely more grateful for every sponsor that came from the very start to now than I was, because the longer I'm in the program, the more I see that it's kind of almost like those pre-language histories where the people had to tell each other the history, and if they didn't convey that history, then it wouldn't survive. And
Yeah.
there's something to do with that wisdom that, man, I don't care how you write it on a piece of paper, it's not going to be the same as somebody saying, "No, you got that wrong, man. You're missing the point on this one." And if we were just missing the point, if we all missed the point for a few years, the point would be lost.
Yeah. I agree, man. I agree,
Yeah.
bro. I agree. I agree. I love that. I love that. And I love you, man. And
Yeah.
so what are some small things there's a lot of things that came to my
Mm.
mind, man, but when we talk about small things, um, when I got into recovery, I thought that I had to mend all these relationships, get my job back, make up for all this lost time, and I realized, just staying clean at first was so special. Being able to just stay clean for 24 hours was such an amazing feat for me, man. When I was able to do that without thinking about drugs for the first time, it was a beautiful moment, man. And I talk about the things where you take food tastes different, colors are different when you see the light shine through the trees. Milan, I'm not joking, man. When you know that time when you were looking out the window and you actually saw the light coming through the trees, man, you thought to yourself, man, I haven't seen that ever or in years, right? Like the little things like that, man. I was in treatment, and I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but we were out in the backyard smoking. That's all we could do. We were professional cigarette smokers, man, in rehab. And we looked up and there was like a double rainbow. We talked about this. Remember, you were
Yeah.
like the guy down the road was saying, yeah, bro, we were freaking the hell out, man. Like a bunch, like 70 addicts, bunch of derelicts, right? Like a bunch of inmates, and we were freaking out. We were so like, half people were crying. We were like taking pictures, we were taking videos. Like it was a crazy moment to be able to sit there with a bunch of people, um, you know, inmates, if you will, and to have a moment like that where it was like 70 people out there. We were like crawling over the gates to get higher to it. Like it was just fucking wild. It was just wild. Um, and then realizing at that point there was a little bit of a shift change of like, because I was getting ready to get out of rehab at that point. I think I had like 2 or 3 days left. And it really lit a fire in my ass, man. It lit a fire in my ass because I remember how many times I would drive to go get drugs or go do something that I needed to do, and I would fly through the weather, man. I would see little ends of rainbows, but I wouldn't even take in how beautiful something like that is. And shit, Milan, you live in a place where there's beautiful shit like that everywhere, man. Just nature. And I see the pictures that you post, and you send me pictures, and shit, that's background worthy, the shit that you send, to
Mm.
put this stuff that you post, the mountains and the
I had my
trees.
first sunrise rainbow yesterday, which I've
Oh my
never seen
God.
in my life, man. It was like the sunrise still coloring the clouds and a rainbow going right into the middle of the cloud. And I was like, this is unreal. Like I
If
was,
if you guys are friend with this man on Facebook, those aren't like, he's not taking those from the internet. He's
no,
taking pictures in his backyard. Those are his backyard pictures, man. So I will visit that place one day. I promise you. I
I
promise
sure
you.
hope so.
And so, taking the small things for granted, waking up not feeling that dread, right? Like that, like when I would wake up, I would feel that immediate dread of the fight, man. Of the fight, man. Like, here we go again. I gotta fight another war today. And I think we lose track of how important losing those feelings are, because those feelings had us completely wrapped up, man. Making unjust decisions, just stupid decisions, breaking the law, whatever we're doing, just killing ourselves, killing everybody around us. And so being able to wake up in the morning without the feeling of knowing that I have to go do it again, and it's just like it's a pit in my stomach that I don't have anymore, Milan. I don't have that pit in my stomach, that anxious knot in the middle of my soul that wants me dead. It's not there anymore, right? You know, my, I am healthy today, right? My brain is still crazy. I'll just say that my brain is still nuts, right? But now I have I have most of myself getting where I need to get to be able to combat that brain part of it, man, because, it's an allergy of the mind and what is it? An obsession of the mind, allergy of the body. And so that's what we're doing here is we're kind of connecting the two. We're trying to bring some kind of harmony to the two. We did a whole podcast on harmony. We're trying to bring some harmony to the two. You know, something as simple as waking up, having a cup of coffee in the morning on my time, I'm so grateful for, because when I lost the ability to do that, that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
We really can hone in those things once we lose them, right? That goes to the point of of the topic today. We really don't know but then when you do lose them, you can gain a different appreciation for them, which is what I've done for a lot of things in my life, man. Just being able to call my mother when I want to, and be able to tap in and tell her I love her when I want to, being able to tell you I love you today and actually mean it. That's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing to know why I'm telling you I love you, if for no other reason than you're an addict like me and we're trying to help each other out today. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It brings cohesiveness to my life, man. It brings a calming nature to my life. To be able to stay in gratitude, knowing that I've lost some things in active addiction. I have a program that I'm working on to be able to bring the things back that I need in my life and want in my life in a healthy way, and then be able to maintain those things long term, so I can live a happy, healthy life, man. Free from wanting to use drugs ever again. Right. That's why we have sponsors. And another, we'll probably get into more things that we took for granted, because I'm sure that will be one of the questions. But like, I had a sponsor early on that I took for granted, man. He was there for me, but I didn't know what a sponsor was. I just didn't know. I was uneducated. I was in, but I just was uneducated. So we'll let you answer that question, Milan.
I answered it and you answered it. Now
Oh,
I ask one.
yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. In the absence of what we once took for granted, we find the sacredness of the ordinary. What simple part of your life today feels like a gift now that you once overlooked? That's a lot like your question just
yeah,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's
You
okay.
know
That's
what?
all
I'm going to
right.
go to the next one.
Okay.
Loss can be a mirror that reflects the true value of what we failed to cherish. What did you once lose that taught you to be more present with what you now have?
A great question. Let's see. I'm trying to think here. What did I once lose? That ties in with let's see. I had well, there was a sponsor. Ask that. What did I once lose that I was
What did
specifically?
you once lose that taught you to be more present with what you now have?
Yeah. So, um, wow. Losing my freedom. Losing my freedom. Was a not having a place to live. Um, I have a new found appreciation for just having a roof over my head, man. I have a new appreciation for being able to take my dog on a walk that I didn't used to in active addiction, man. I was a I was out there, man. I was out there, man. This my disease killed me every single day, and then I would come back to life, and it would kill me again. I would come back to life, and it would kill me again. And again, man, my disease talks to me in my own voice. So the big things in life, my freedom. I ran this shit into the ground, Milan. And I had my shit together. I thought I did. I could have had anything I wanted. I had my mother loved me. My father was a bad influence on me. So that was something that I just didn't have growing up. And I feel bad for anybody who doesn't. But again, I have a 12-step program now. This program has done for me what I couldn't do for myself. Man, it gave me a God in my life. I can grow or die. I can get off drugs. I can go in the great outdoors. Um, Group of drug addicts, man. I looked at the group as my higher power when I first came in here, until I was really pointed into the way of the higher power that I have now, man, who I choose to call God. Man, I know God's got me, man. I wake up every morning and I fucking thank him for giving me that self-will. I give it right back. And man, I don't even know if that answered your question.
I think it was awesome. Loss can be a mirror that reflects the true value of what we failed to cherish. What did I once lose that taught me to be more present with what I now have? You know, the very first thought, man, is time with my family.
Yeah.
Like I lost and wasted so much time for work that never really got me anything in the end. Like because I squandered the money I made. You
Yeah.
know, um, Getting wasted and just not being present for a lot of my family time. And now it's just like I'm cherishing the moments with the people I love.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, man.
I'm trying my very best to maintain time in those relationships. It's always hard. It's always hard, man.
Yeah, man.
Everybody's got their little plans and scopes and things in life. And we can only accommodate so much and still move forward with our life, right? But
Yeah.
the thing is trying to be present in those moments we are present,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah,
um,
man.
and telling them that I love them right now. Because if I had died that night that my heart stopped, I don't think a lot of them would have really felt like I had given them much presence or love over the last 6 months before that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so part of my own living amends is hopefully to be there in the way that I wasn't before.
Beautiful, man. That's beautiful. You want
Yeah.
me to ask you a question?
Yeah.
All right. So, how do you remind yourself to be grateful during even painful moments?
So what I've been doing, like I've been saying, is praying that gratitude, for things that I'm not feeling that I have. And so what that's getting me to do is, first of all, it's helping me build some patience because my addict mind was a real I want this now thing.
Yeah, man.
And it was like that pretty much my whole life. Like I just don't think that I matured as an adult because of just staying in that constant state of party, right?
Yeah.
And so now when things aren't going in that way, I'm trying to step back and see what I'm missing from my own contentment in that situation. And then, I'm trying to like, and say, this is a really cool thing. I'm going to do a little sidebar. And it's only because I heard this speaker the other day describe it like this. Like, how there's the restless, irritable, and discontent, right?
Hmm.
Well, okay, everybody out there, if you're like, I don't really associate with restless. Restless is anxiety. Irritable is anger. Discontent is depression. And show me an addict who does not have one of those three things, and I'll show you someone who's not really an addict. Like,
Yeah, man. I
you
love
know,
that. I love that.
and so like it's really what it's also the three things that are taking you out of the present. That
Yeah. Yeah.
like the anxiety, that's future. That's future, like that's future
Future
fear.
tripping. Future
Yep.
tripping, man.
Anger is right now. You're thinking of the past because you had an expectation on them.
Yeah.
And depression's probably your unhappiness about the past, and you're neither here now then anyway.
Kind of
And
like the triangle of self-obsession, really.
yeah,
Anger, resentment, fear,
yeah,
faith, love, and hope.
exactly.
Yeah.
But like I just like that. I like replacing that restlessness with anxiety. Because
Yeah.
for me, I was like, I don't know about restless, but I'm like, oh, I was anxious. I've been anxious. I get anxious, like it's just like little word swapping.
Yeah, man.
Um, yeah. And so anyway, now for me, it's stepping back and trying to see what it is I'm not happy about. And so, I'm kind of like looking like, am I anxious about something?
Yeah.
Am I angry about something, or am I sad about something? And then um it's a case of like praying for the faith instead of the fear that anxiety comes from.
That
Praying
part.
praying for the love that I have, not the anger that's there. You know, praying for that joy, contentment, happiness that, you know, that's not there from the depressive part.
Yeah.
And that's my current coping mechanism, and it's making my life better.
More prayer, more peace, more prayer, more serenity, more prayer, more harmony, less prayer, less harmony, less prayer, less peace, less
Yeah.
prayer, less everything, right? And it kind of reminded me of the halt, man, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Halt,
Yeah.
right? When we're in any one of those lanes, we are more susceptible to a relapse or going out there, you know. So how do I remind myself to be grateful even in painful moments? Um, well, you know, when life gets heavy, and it hurts and things don't go my way, man, like gratitude isn't like the first thing in my head, right? Like I don't it doesn't shift to gratitude. Like I've got to there's some things that I have to do to think process my way into that. And you know, that wasn't there in active addiction. And so I've realized now that in those times is when I need that voice the most. Right? Like I don't need it on in normal times. When I'm struggling is when I need that voice. You know, so how do I summons it? You know, right? How do I remind myself of that? So kind of what I had thought about was, you know, I remind myself that pain means I'm alive. Pain means I'm alive, right? And clean, right? It means I'm clean, right? If I'm feeling my pain, because when I was in active addiction, man, especially with my DOC, I wasn't feeling pain at all. Or I was running around here ready to go through a brick wall every day. You know, I wasn't feeling pain. There was no pain. What's pain? I'm going to do more if it's pain, right? If there's pain, I'm going to do more. Pain stands for positive attitude in negativity. Ooh, you already know what time it is. I'm all about.
Ooh.
So you go, remember, PAIN, positive attitude in negativity. That's what I think about when I think about pain. But pain reminds me I'm alive. Pain reminds me that I'm actively working a program. Pain allows me to understand I got 3 years clean and I've been doing this thing, man. And I lean into it. And it's not that I love pain or I'm looking for it, right? But when it comes on my desk, like I'm not a miserable ass dude with a terrible outlook on life right now, right? I can handle it. Like I can handle it. If not, I'm going to call somebody and talk about my pain and see how they got through it, you know. And so the fact that I'm clean, stay and just the fact that I could stay clean as long as I have, that's a miracle, man. It's a fucking miracle. So um I focus on saying that, uh you know, what is this teaching me versus why me? You with me on that? I like, when something hits my table, I'm trying to think how it's going to teach me, as opposed to why is this thing always beating me down, or why is it coming across my table today? Well, God obviously wanted to be there, you know, wanted me to be in this position to have to make that decision. Yeah, Mancha. Yeah. And I love you too. And so I just want, you know, I understand that now, because what I'm doing is I'm praying, I'm staying in his lane, I'm staying consciously connected as much as conscious as I can. Yeah, I love you too. And and so you know, I always try to figure out what the moment's teaching me, Milan. You know, I have something to learn in every single moment. Um, Gratitude and knowing that I have the chance to grow today. You know, I had the chance to grow. I have gratitude for a new perspective. You know, gratitude that I don't have to do this thing alone. I have guys like you in my life, and people like you in my life that make pain possible. Hi, buddy. I love that. I love him. Pacha!
He's
Who is
like,
that?
man,
Who is
he's
that?
like, somebody's outside, Dad. Let's get him.
Let's go get them now. Let's go bite their ankles. And so today I reach out. You know what I mean? I have a good network of people that are just trying to do what I'm trying to do, is stay clean one day at a time, man, and stay happy while we're doing it. You know, you can make yourself strong or miserable. The amount of work is the same. You know, I choose to make myself strong and happy and laugh today, man. Laughter is love. I laugh a lot, you know, around my workplace, and I have a boss that tries to put the thumb down on that because it's like we're having too much fun at work. But I'm like, bitch, come on, man. Like, what do you want to cry or you want to laugh? Which one do you want to do? You want? She would rather cry.
I want to
You know,
laugh until I cry.
laugh until you cry. There you go. That's a whole nother spin on it. So I keep that on the forefront, and then I'm able to remember what it was like and not be crippled by that. Right, I can remember what it was like and know that I'm not that dude anymore. You know, that's a beautiful thing. Um, because my best day using, or my worst day clean is way better than my best day using, man. I don't know if you ever heard somebody say that, but my best day in active addiction doesn't touch my worst day in recovery. You know what I mean? My worst day in recovery is way better than that. So with that being said, I don't really feel unsure anymore today. You know, I'm consciously talking to my higher power, man, and so he gives me my answers today, man. And I said this in my speech last night that you weren't able to come to when I spoke. Surrender. This is a program of surrender, not self-improvement. And so I even said that in my speech when I spoke last night about how that changed things for me. That changed things for me in a way where it made long-term recovery a little more feasible to me. Right? It made it like if I can out surrender this thing, it took a big load off of me. Did it do the same thing does it do something for you? Like it just takes an extra load off me that I didn't even know I could take off of me. Like I was already light, but this took a whole like other layer in terms of
It got me off my plateau, man.
yeah,
I
yeah,
had plateaued because I was not shoving those defects anywhere. I was like,
yeah.
I'm going to get rid of them. No, I'm not. I'm going to get rid of them. No, I'm not. I'm going to get rid of them. And then now I'm like, I'm going to surrender them. And they're starting to slip away.
You're starting to get answers. You're starting to get answers like
Yeah.
whoosh,
Yeah.
whoosh. Proud of you, man. Love you. Yeah, I think I'm done.
Okay, I got a question for you then, just to keep you going. Okay, gratitude begins the moment we stop expecting and start appreciating. What are you appreciating today that you used to feel entitled to?
Oh wow, I appreciate being able to tell the truth today, man. I was a lot and I did a lot of lying, man, when I was in active addiction, man. The truth will set you free, man. You know, when you start telling the truth and you can just layer the truth on there, that's a lot of mental baggage that you can unearth, you know. I remember telling lies and having to tell a lie on top of a lie on top of a lie. And then when they would catch me in that lie, I would lie about that, you know, and bro, that's a miserable place to be in, Milan. I don't know if you've been there, but staying in that lane of dishonesty and it really doesn't allow you to have any really good relationships with anybody because nobody trusts you. You know, there's no trust. You know, I had no trust in anybody. So then it's like me against the world. It was me against the world at that point. Um, and everybody was in my way, right? Everybody was in my way. Um, you know, I couldn't stay happy or stay serene in any moment. I mean, I remember just in the times where it was just by myself, and that's when we get the worst. You think like relaxing and watching a TV show is a good spot for an addict? That's the worst time for us when it's getting dark at night and we're just watching a TV show. It's just us in the couch, man, in our brain. That's the worst time for an addict, man. That's the worst time for an addict. You know, the opposite of our disease is connection. When you connect with people in this program, and you see them practicing brutal honesty to the point where you're like, why the hell did they even say that? It's refreshing. It's refreshing to see people come on here and talk about the wildest shit that you've never even imagined. You couldn't even dream up some of the shit I've heard in these meetings. And you hear them talk about it, and you know it's honest, because why would they even be saying some of this wild shit if it wasn't honest? And then it really hits home with you, like this person's been through hell just like I have, you know. And it maybe will give you a little bit of courage to tell your full story, right? When you hear something like that. And bro, it's not like it just happens all every once in a while. These meetings, you hear it on a daily basis. You'll hear some stuff that really puts you back into that gratitude lane, man, in that grateful spot. Because a lot of times it's not going to a meeting and just dumping all your trash in that meeting, right? That's what they're there for, is to go in there and talk about whatever you need to. A lot of times I get perspective, and I get grateful because there's somebody there that's a little more grateful than I am to be there, and they're in a way worse position I am. And it really hits home with me, where like, what is my like it can always be worse, Andrew, right? I it's like my real time, like bonk in the head where it's like, hey man, look, this is where you need to be, right? You need to be grateful. Man, you could be like this person who's more grateful than you, and they got it way worse than you. Didn't even have a house, they don't have a place to live, whatever it is. And so it just really, really is a special thing. Lean into these meetings, man. If you don't know how to live, if you don't know how to do things, just go to meetings and watch people mess up and apologize to each other and be irate and then come in and be a great person the next day. Like, you'll just see how real people are. And then lean into it, right? Find a group that you love. Find a group that you love. Not every group might be for you, but every group's there to help. They all have their own identity, but try to tap into to the personal part of this thing, man, because you'll start understanding how to be a person too. That's my take on that. So I love you, man.
I love that. Oh, that was great. Okay, gratitude begins the moment we stop expecting and start appreciating. What am I appreciating today that I used to feel entitled for? And for me, when I looked at this question after I read it to you, I thought, I deserve. Like, I used to feel like I deserved reciprocation in relationships just because, like, I might have, people pleased in a certain way in order for them to owe me something. And even that owing me something was a favor, being nice to me, like all kinds of things, even just, nicer treatment. Like I could fakely be nice to somebody I didn't want to be, as thinking it was going to get me that back. And when I went and did my step 4, like I said, there was that lineup of apologies, right? Like they were out the door. And most of that was because they should have treated me better. I deserve better treatment like this. Like I was getting hurt because they weren't holding up their end of the relationship or whatever. And now I'm just really grateful when people are nice to me because I'm not expecting that niceness back. And I'm not doing what I'm doing for them in order for that to be happening. Like I'm not putting the shoulda or I deserve on my relationships in the same way. Am I doing it zero? No, I'm not freaking perfect. Like we all have some hope that people are going to be nice to us if we're nice to them. Like, come on, anybody out there that says they don't? Well, Dalai Lama this, baby, because I don't believe that. Like, I don't believe it. I don't believe that you don't have some expectation of being treated nicely because I know that somewhere deep inside of us, we all want to be treated nicely.
Yeah, man.
Nobody's like,
Yeah.
man, I can't wait for today to be treated like shit all day so I can really practice my inner strength. Like,
I really hope somebody acts like a dick to me so I can act like a dick back to them. That's really what I
no,
want.
no, like I want to have the opportunity to rise above all day, Andrew.
Yeah, man. It's crazy,
But
man.
but I just don't have the same I deserve or it should have been like that in the same way. And that's part of being able to, just kind of having gratitude for the opportunity to help and serve people as part of my prayer. Um it's up to me to live how I want to live and not how you've treated me defines how I live
Beautiful.
or I'm your puppet.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. I love that. I love that. Um, you ready for me to ask a
Well,
question?
yeah, 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 yeah.
So, Milan, looking at your life today, what are you most grateful for that you once thought you'd never have or didn't even know you needed? And how do you protect and nurture that gift now?
Ooh. Okay, so right now I'm gonna say one word: serenity. And I don't have it all the time. And I definitely never sought it. Like I was like, man, I was going right past there. I wanted the extreme. I
That's
wanted
lame, baby.
I was like always up. I was always amphetamine. I was never a down drug addict, and it was just like I was a race car, hummingbird,
Yeah.
whatever. But it's like now in those moments where quite often it occurs by myself. When I'm out walking, it's kind of where I'm doing my prayer these days, and where I'm feeling the things just slow down to the speed of a bird song. or the wind or whatever. And and what I'm doing is I'm continuing my program. I'm trying to get enough sleep. I don't drink coffee anymore. Like I've had 3 coffees now this year, and one
Do
was
you want me
on.
to drink coffee off camera? I'll drink coffee off camera
No,
for you.
no, dude, I don't. Like
You
honestly,
set my video off.
everybody, dude, I make the coffee at the meeting I'm going to this morning.
Turn my
After
video
right
off
after
every
this.
time I take a drink.
No, man, no,
I'm
that's
kidding.
the
I'm
yeah.
kidding. I'm
But
kidding.
but for me, it just was proving to be a source of the biggest thing that was happening with me and coffee was that it was disrupting my sleep at night, even hours and hours and
Yeah.
hours later. And man, I told you there's jerk face Milan that just comes to town when I don't get my sleep.
We don't
So
like that dude.
anyway, this little baby wanted to be nestled in his crib and breastfed all night. But but yeah, so for me, my absolute answer to that is serenity, and how I'm, trying to nurture that is by the things that, are bringing me more peace in my life, surrender, like praying, meditation, being in nature, going, work with my sponsees, you know, like I get a really good, strong feeling of peace after a good session with the sponsee, man. Like,
Yeah, man.
it's like, oh, it's the boom, I just did the right thing button. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that so that someone goes, great, you're a great sponsor, Milan. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying anybody out there who's been fearing taking the step because you don't have time or you need to work on yourself some more, guess what? It's gonna help you work on yourself.
That is the epitome of working on yourself. That
Yeah,
is working on yourself.
yeah.
You're scared to work on yourself if you're using that as an excuse to not work the steps. That is
I
not an
I
excuse.
have heard a lot of people say, I'm just not ready yet. I don't feel like I'm far enough along in my program. And I'm like, well, like, have you had your spiritual awakening? Are you awake? And like, are you like, what else? Like, let's go.
It's guaranteed as a result of working the steps, you're gonna have that, man. So
Yeah,
go start working the steps. At least start reading into them.
yeah.
It's crazy. That was great. And what I was thinking about when you were sitting there, I was envisioning you pulling up to the car of serenity, right? Like there's this serenity that's in the fast lane, and you just put, and it's got serenity on the bumper sticker, and you just pull up to it in a little, like a little crotch rocket, and you're like, get out of my way. Get out of my way, Serenity. What the hell are you doing in the fast lane?
Stay in the
You ain't
right
going fast.
lane, sucker.
Get out of my way.
I
Sitting
got
here be
recovery fever,
driving,
man. You're in my way.
road raging your ass off, and Serenity's just like, what the fuck is wrong with that dude? Just chilling in the
Serenity
back,
is like, no
bro,
problem. I'll move over.
I ain't never had a ticket in my life. What's wrong with you, boy? Um, so yeah, that's just funny. So looking at my life today, what am I most grateful for that I once thought I'd never have or didn't even know I needed? And how do I protect and nurture that gift now? Peace of mind, man. You hit on it. Peace of mind. I didn't have peace of mind. I didn't even know it was possible to have peace of mind. What is peace? I have no idea what peace is, man. Peace is such an unknown commodity to me as an addict. Today I have a calm spirit. I have a calm spirit, a quiet mind. Um, I have a
I
heart
think
that
you
knows.
and me are only going to get so quiet, okay? Like, like the reality is that like there's like the low revving people, the medium people, the high revving people.
Then there's
I'm
us.
like, dude, like us serene is still like an 8.7 to
Still
some
blows
people.
people away. People are like, bro, what's wrong with that guy? Yeah, but look, I'm hyped up. Recovery, bro. I'm so hyped up for recovery, bro, because what, bro, brought me out of the depths of hell, man.
Yeah.
I felt like whatever you could picture at the bottom of the toilet bowl, at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the toilet bowl. That's what I felt like. I felt like this dredge of shit. I felt like ass every single day, and now I have, man, like I said, to hit on what I was saying, peace of mind, dude. I have peace of mind. I have a heart that knows love today and can actually receive it, bring it in, and go, it makes me feel good. And then I can push it back out because what? My literature tells me the more I give that shit out, the more I'm gonna receive it. What a beautiful thing. The more I give it away to people, the more I'm gonna get it back in return tenfold. Like, okay, okay. it's about leaning into those good things, man. When you find something good in your life, you find something that you never thought you could have before, you've got to hold on and maintain that, because I talk about this a lot. When I find peace, bro, good luck getting it away from me. Like in any situation, if I can find peace in that situation, I'm gonna reference how I did that next time to get peaceful in that moment, whatever it is. It's going in the memory bank, and my it's up there. When it gets up there, I might not be able to find it. I might be a minute late, but it's up there. Um, and so praying and showing up, being able to do those kind of things, showing up, just showing up. But I used to not show up. I used to say I was going to be there, and then I wouldn't be there. They called me the maybe man in my disease. They don't call me that, but my father literally called me the maybe man. They're like, all right,
Not
well, maybe we
Slicky
know you
Boy.
like it.
Not
No, not
Slicky
Slicky Boy. Not Slicky Boy. I love you, JJ.
Boy.
But making it, staying honest, I nurture it by helping others. I nurture keeping all these things by giving it out. That's how I nurture it. You're telling me I don't have to do anything else but give it out to people, and that's how I'm going to naturally get it. And that's going to create more community, more connection for me. It's going to create more of a solid recovery group surrounding me as I go forward. Like, all these things piggyback on all these things, all these good things we're talking about. When it comes to doing, you don't know what you got till it's gone, and then staying grateful. When you start doing the right shit, other right shit attracts to you. And it's not about being successful, it's about being valuable in any situation. For me, as long as I'm valuable to the situation, the success will come, and it'll attract itself to me, is what I've found. So as long as I can stay valuable at work, at in my relationships, to myself, if I can stay valuable to myself, um, the success will naturally come, man. It'll naturally come, or it won't, because it's not supposed to. So I'm not going to get pissed off if something doesn't happen, because I know there is something happening on the other side. Like, I'm okay with that, and I stay tapped in prayer. I'm not a big meditator yet. Meditator, is that a word? Meditator?
Yep, it just sounds like
Is it?
potato.
Yeah. I didn't want to say what I thought it sounded like at the beginning, but yeah, meditator. That's kind of crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna have you teach me a little bit better about that. I've watched the YouTube videos. I've tapped in. I've heard that prayers where you ask for the answers, meditation is where you receive them. But my meditation is more of my breathing techniques and my breathing practices. And I know that meditation and breathing is intertwined. So I just think I need to do a little more research on that. I've been focused too much on simple, straight recovery and not the meditation part of it. But it is a part of this program, so I need to tap into it.
What I found really useful was actually going to that Dharma recovery a bit. And the reason is that if you go to somewhere that has group meditation, there's no cheating. Like when you're sitting at home and then something happens and you get distracted, oh, but I just got to deal with this right now. It's like,
You can't.
yeah, but like when you're with a group, it's not like you're just going to be like, oh shit, I got to. No, you don't. You just shut up for the whole 15 minutes that they're doing it.
So that's an in-person thing that you do, that
Yeah,
Dharma.
like DHARMA. I guarantee there's a Dharma recovery group in your area, dude.
I'm gonna look it up.
And
I'm gonna look it up.
it's really kind of nice. And the main, one of the main differences really is about mindfulness and you know what? It's good to be more mindful in our actions and thoughts.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. I love it. I've heard
yeah,
you talk about that before.
yeah.
I've never really asked you about it. I
But
thought it was
but
maybe
but I'll tell you though, like going to do it in a group is different than doing it by yourself. And it's nice because first of all, you're not the one who gets to pick everyone then. Like all the meditations, generally it was a different person every time who picked a different one. And then they
Mhm.
can also turn you on to some ones that are really good. And it it's nice.
Yeah.
I felt like it helped me learn a bit more about it.
Yeah. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm gonna look into it.
And you know what? Not like it's great because you have an unexplored avenue in your recovery. And
Yeah.
that's awesome because now you've got potential for even more growth and awesomeness.
Hell yeah. Love it, man.
Yeah.
Love you.
Yeah. Is it me asking a question now?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
We often chase more until we realize how much we already had and still do. What in your life today would you miss deeply if it were gone tomorrow?
What would I miss? Say that last part again. I'm so sorry.
What in your life today would you miss deeply if it were gone tomorrow?
Wow. Man, in terms of what I would lose, I was thinking about like material things, then I'm thinking about like grandiose things.
Anything. It can be
Yeah,
anything. You can be
bro.
like philosopher
Uh,
Joe. You can be lover boy Johnson. You can be like love
uh,
my car.
bro, and all those things are great, but bro, what has shaped me, and you know what the foundation of my recovery is? It's love, man. Love.
Yeah.
Being able to love and feel love today. I can't explain the feeling. I can't really wrap my brain around it, but I know what it is. I know when I feel it, I feel it. But being able to love myself. I used to hate myself, and now I love myself. I really do. I genuinely love myself, and I have a passion for this program. I love this program. This program did for me what I couldn't do for myself. It has given me a life beyond my wildest dreams, and I know that I can do anything I want to do going forward. And I'm the only one keeping me away from that. And so that being able to love and feel love and give out love and teach love, man. I've taught people how to love in this program, man. I got people that have been married for years that have actually called me and because they knew there was some kind of issue with that word. And I swear, man, and it's not that I'm giving out advice. They just ask me, and I give them my take on it and how I feel it that they should handle it or whatever. And maybe give them a suggestion, and they've called me like, bro, like you saved my ass, and it's a beautiful thing to have somebody that you really care about tell you thank you for helping to save their marriage. Like I've had people say that in an open forum in a meeting before, that I helped save their marriage and showed each other how to love each other again and to tackle their problems with love. And bro, I'm no coach, I'm no love coach, I'm no nothing. I'm nothing sauce. But I do know how to love, and it's attraction rather than promotion. Like if you see me in a meeting, you see me loving on people, man, like act as if. Come ask me how I'm doing it. I'll tell you. I know I love talking about myself. I love talking about myself. We talk about that a lot. But see, we get scared in here. We get scared, and that phone gets real heavy. We get all wrapped up in our feels, man. And but don't let your feelings take you out of this program or take you out of having a conversation with somebody that you see has what you want. You want to ask them for help. That's what we're here for, guys. If we're in these meetings, we're here to help. Okay, because helping you helps us. If there's somebody in these rooms, if you're new in these rooms, if you're just trying to feel, you're a newcomer, like ask for help. There is no, we feel so much. I get so much gratitude out of a newcomer that comes to ask me for help that I've never met before. Like it shows me so much. It gives me so much pride to be able to help that person. That person trusted me enough to come ask me for help, and it gives me it already creates a bond immediately, that you trusted me enough to ask me for help. Now I'm going to pour everything into you, man, because you saw that you thought it was important enough to ask me. And that's how this thing is cyclical, man. This thing is cyclical. You talked about it earlier. You feel better when you help your sponsees out, or when you do step work with your sponsees and help them through their step work. You feel better. It's and then when they call you with their problems, instead of or if they call you and say, hey, Spot, you probably have a couple that'll call you and ask you how you're doing, don't they? And when they call you and ask you how you're doing, that's a real special thing. I didn't really understand the whole sponsorship thing and the whole how it really worked until I got into sponsoring a few of my own.
I don't
And it's
think you can. I don't
you
think you
can't,
can.
you can't, you
You can.
can't.
It's like saying what making love feels like if you've never had sex.
Yeah, you writing that girl's name on your hand and doing it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Did you ever have kids to do that in grade school?
Never.
They're like, yeah, it's just, they would make a joke, like they would write that woman's or girl's name on your hand and be like, this is stupid. Anyways.
Oh my. I
So where
never
are we
did.
at?
Okay,
I,
I got to answer this question. We often chase more until we realize how much we already had and still do. What in your life today would you miss deeply if it were gone? You know, kind of the three, there's three. There's three. Like, there's my family. If my family wasn't here, like when when one of us goes away for like one day, the house feels empty. Like a home isn't a home without the people in it.
Sure.
It doesn't matter what the house looks like. My family, my dogs. My dogs are like trusty sidekicks, and like my recovery. Like, man, if I didn't have my recovery, I would be using like that. There, it wouldn't be like I would be in a state of neutrality. Like, no, like
Dylan.
without my recovery, I would be like unhappy white knuckling or using, and in neither state was somewhere anywhere I wanted to live anymore. So yeah, like I think that you know um, the three using dreams I've had really highlighted how that would feel. There was somebody, gosh, I don't, was it on the podcast or was it at a meeting I was at? But they were saying, that they considered their using dreams as gifts from their
That was
higher
on. It was on
power.
here. It was on here.
Yeah, yeah, and I really liked that. It's like uh, it's like the relapse for free, you
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah. You
but
get
it's
you get
not
all the
free. Like
feelings.
it's not free because those feelings still hurt.
Yeah.
Every single one of those three using dreams I've had, my entire day, I felt bad. Even when I was past it and knew, I couldn't shake how bad I felt right before I woke up.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
beautiful, man. That's
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. And to that point, it allows you to get all those feelings. Even sometimes you use in the dream, and then when you wake up, you can take a piss test and you piss clean. You know what I mean? You didn't use. You got everything.
But
You have everything. You still keep your clean time, and you get to actually go through. I looked at it. That's kind of how I looked at it. Is like that was kind of a gift. Like, and I know it's kind of unnerving, but like I'm in a position where I don't have any drugs around me. When I wake up, I'm not gonna go use because I had a dream. I know I might not be feeling all that great after, but I didn't actually use. So by the time I get in a shower and I start wearing that shit off, like I'm great. I'm grateful that I wasn't actually using because it felt real.
I was at none of the days after, the whole next day, I was just like, whoa. Like
See, I was never like
it
that.
was such an intense shame and self-loathing feeling. It was like when you're kicked in the balls and it still hurts 2 hours later. I mean, you're like,
That that just tells you how we differ from person to person, guys. That just shows you how different like we take these things, using dreams and
yeah.
relapses. Some people think it's the end of the world. Some people are like, let's get back into it. There's just it's kind of crazy how our minds are all different. Is it me to ask a
Yeah,
question?
you got to ask me one.
All right. So what role does gratitude play when you're facing things you don't want, like grief, regret, or disappointment in recovery? And how do you find gratitude in those moments?
Ooh, well, okay. One thing about grief is that I do always have an element for having had the opportunity to have known the person. And even when I'm sad, it is something that I've always been able to still have that part of. So like that's where I could pull gratitude into grief. It doesn't overwhelm the feeling of sadness immediately, but it is something that I definitely am able to have as part of my emotion at that time. Like I just know, like I didn't have a dad that I knew. He died of a disease, was paralyzed before I was born, and I have friends who've lost their father in adulthood, and I look at them and I say, man, you have had infinitely more than I have. You know the sound of your dad's voice. You've laughed with him. You have experiences together. I'm like, you have to have some gratitude for that right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, man.
and that's just, you know, otherwise you're not honoring their life if you don't have some, like, oh, it's all about me. I'm so self-centered. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. No, they don't count. They only
Oh,
count as a function of your pity for me. Like, and the pity party thing is old. Anybody out there who wants to throw pity parties, don't invite me.
wah.
Don't
Yeah.
invite me. I ain't showing up. I ain't showing up. And I'm also not going to validate like perpetual self-pity. Like, I won't do it anymore. I won't play my role in the pity party. And when I see myself starting to do it, I make a general announcement. This was not announced for a pity party. This is an explanation of a life experience. Please do not throw a pity party. Please do not invite me. Please do not show up. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's
Yeah.
please God make me a bird so I can fly far away from here. Please God make me a bird so I can fly far away from here. It's Forrest Gump. Sorry, that's
Yeah.
Forrest Gump. So what was my question? Let me see. What role is it my turn?
Yeah. Yeah, you answer.
I didn't cut you off, did I, man? I didn't mean to.
You did not. You did not.
What role does
What was
gratitude?
I going to follow that up with?
I don't know. I don't know. Well, I just wanted to be. I just love you, man. What role does gratitude play when I'm facing things that I don't want, like grief, regret, or disappointment in recovery, and how do I find gratitude in those moments? Um, Gratitude doesn't change like pain in those painful moments. It almost restructures it for me. Does that make sense? Like it kind of word jumbles it up and then throws it back out in a new perspective for me, right? Like I jumble it with gratitude and then I try to figure out how I can be grateful in that moment. um Remaining teachable. What I have here, when regret shows up, and gratitude does not change the hardship, right? It doesn't change it, but it allows me to feel that grief and that disappointment, and I almost look at it as a shift of, this is not happening to me, this is happening for me, right? I'm like, that's how I kind of shifted into that gratitude lane. Is, oh God, I used to be like, why the fuck is this happening to me again? And it's always me, I never get the breaks and all that stuff. And then now, as I work in a program, I don't allow my past to imprison me anymore, Milan. I allow my past is no longer keep me behind bars, right? I allow my past to teach me. My past is my teacher, and along with those lines, that's where I'm like, hey, this is not happening to me, it's happening for me. This is giving me an opportunity to work on this and to be better at it next time, and to be able to help somebody out when they ask me about it. That's kind of how I've spun things and been able to stay actively working on my program and actively learning at the same time. Right? I don't know everything. I'm not perfect. None of us are. As soon as we think we have this whole thing figured out, we've said it a lot, man. We're done. As soon as I've got this whole thing figured out, and I don't want to go to an online meeting because I'm Mr. Uh, a Joe Blow in person, then I'm done. I'm done. I got to remain teachable and move around, move around. So keep it moving, man. Z's can't hit a moving target. I know I got off on one there because I didn't answer probably the question. I think I did, but it doesn't matter. And I love you.
I got another question for you. We
Yeah.
only truly see the sunlight after the dark. And gratitude is how we carry that light forward. What darkness from your past has made today's peace feel more sacred?
Wow. Well, gratitude doesn't erase, like I said, it doesn't erase the hard stuff. It doesn't make grief feel good or disappointment feel like it's the fair thing, but it keeps me from blowing the house up when it comes on my table. It keeps me from completely melting in those positions. So gratitude is one of those things that I can lose really quick, man. I can be ungrateful. It's about perspective too, Milan. The perspective change. It's a big perspective change, but perspective change is not going to come if you're using drugs, man. You gotta thaw out. You gotta stop using, and it takes time. It takes time, Um, it gives me something to hold on to, man, when my emotions get turning, right? The gratitude piece gives me something to really hang on to and to latch on to when my emotions are starting to turn and to start to get the best of me. Um, and it's a good thing because that's kind of like my buddy. Gratitude's my buddy, man. Like he's always there. He's like my little sidecar buddy. gratitude, right? Like I might have somebody, or I might get hit in the face with a bug when I'm driving down the road, but my sidecar buddy's got me. He's gonna wipe my face off. He's just gonna wipe my face off, and we're gonna continue on our path, man, because we're staying grateful. We're staying in that serene. We're staying in the middle lane. We're not on the slow lane. We're not in the fast lane. We're in the middle lane. Trying to stay serene. Trying to stay hashtag JJ from West Virginia. Serene. When I think about the JJ, I think about serenity, man. And so my sponsor's dog's name is Serene. Serenity. Nice. Yeah, this is pretty dope. So it shows you how much he likes spiritual principles. So I'll pass that to you, man.
Okie dokie.
I love you.
I love you too. We only truly see the sunlight after the dark, and gratitude is how we carry that light forward. What darkness from my past has made today's peace feel more sacred? Right off the bat, it's my freedom from guilt. Like when I did my first set of steps and through my 4, and when I said my 5, I was like I've said, man, it was the first guilt-free 36 hours of my entire life. I was like beyond pink cloud. I was like Captain Cotton Candy mounting the sky. Plenty of room in back if you'd like peace and serenity. And it was such a free amount of space that freed up here. Like when I think of freedom, it's when I get more parts of my brain back for actually just processing things that I am actually having the opportunity to participate in. Like guilt and anxiety, like those, what I've realized from the program, those are just like wasted space in my brain. Like when they're swirling and up, like if it's like a what's that, the circle chart with the pie graph?
Pie graph, yeah.
When they're pie graphs, right? And it's like every slice that's anxiousness, guilt, anger, like those things are just part of my brain that could be like love, acceptance, service, presence, maybe more music making, but
not possible.
No, that could be like I don't think I could do more than I don't think I could do more than last year. But
I haven't even needed YouTube lately, man. He just sends me at least 1 or 2 songs a day. I don't need YouTube. I don't listen to a lot of music. I just listen to his songs when I need a little bit of music. I'm either listening to the podcast, or I'm listening to something else, or I'm on a meeting, or I'm listening to Milan's music. You should tap in.
There's been some good philosophical adventures in the words lately.
Bro, it's been really fun, man. It's been really fun.
But yeah, so I mean, I think that, for me, that freedom from guilt, is just one of the darknesses that I feel is gone now. And and when I see that happening, if I see guilt coming in, it means I need to do a step 10 on something.
Yeah.
And it's just like
step 10 Starcic.
Yeah, step 10 there's a good one.
Yes, that's it.
Step 10 Starcic. I like that one a lot.
I love how you just said, you were like, and when it comes to, I know I need to do a step 10 on this thing. You were like ready to go do a step 10 on something you didn't even know you needed to do it on right now. You're like, I was like, man, stop the podcast. Let's do something right now.
I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Hey, and I've had people ask me, how did they get your music? How do they listen to your music? How would we find your music? Anybody listening?
Like right now, I think there's 37 or 42 songs on Spotify and Apple Music, and that if you look up Milan, Milan, Starcic, Starcic, they'll show up.
So for those of you listening, tap in. It's fun, man.
Yeah, it's great. I
just wanted to get that out there because I've had people ask me about that.
Yeah, and it's not even my favorite ones on there yet because I've still got some of my favorites that I need to final mix. But
you heard it here. Yeah, you heard it here.
Okay, you got a question for me now?
I do. Have you ever found yourself taking your recovery for granted? If so, what brought you back to a place of humility and gratitude?
Ooh.
Bringing it back home now.
I know, and I'm scanning through my last 20 months to see, like, have I really had a granted place? Like, man, I don't know if I ever 100% have. I really don't know. Like, I feel that, to be quite honest, like, man, you and I run a tight ship on how active we are in our programs. Like,
Very active.
there hasn't been one day that I didn't think about my recovery. I might not have done every single thing every single day, but there's not a single day that I didn't do something for my recovery.
Yeah, well, I would
Like,
agree with that.
but, I would like to say that when I've had close friends relapse, it does make me see what I'm not doing enough in my program. Like that was like kind of my implementation of more prayer and meditation was the end of October last year when a close friend went back out and I was reevaluating myself. And one thing that I like to do is, and it's gonna I guess only happen kind of once a year now, but on important anniversaries, I like to evaluate what I'm, like almost give myself like a recovery check, not a checklist, but an evaluation. Like what am I doing good? What am I not doing good? What do I want to do more of? And I don't mind telling myself where I'm not doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like because there's some stuff I think about, and thinking about it, it doesn't mean I'm doing it.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, man.
thinking about writing another step four is not writing another step four.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah, there's actually, I think I'm thinking of switching one of the meetings I'm going to here because someone's starting a step working group. And that's one thing I've wanted to be involved with for a while is an actual step working group.
They're good.
And yeah, and partly to be able to help other people who aren't as far along, but
Yeah.
also because I'm really now seeing that I want to do a step four on my beliefs.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and and that's a big one that's a big one that I think is going to offer me just another chunk of freedom on that.
Yeah.
So
It's
to
beautiful.
answer the question, I think I give gratitude for my program every day by doing it every day.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, like, is there a time maybe when you went to Mexico, like in between all that time where you just kind of
Dude, I was doing a meeting every single day
I
there
know.
except
No,
for
I know.
one.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm fishing. I'm fishing.
yeah. Oh, I know, I
Fishing.
know, I know.
So it's beautiful, man. I almost half expected you to answer that way because there's been times where you're like, bro, I'm a fucking recover. I have a problem with recovery.
Uh, well, like that's it. Is
Nothing
I'm more
else.
willing than I've ever been, and it's kind of like a big snowball rolling down a ski hill.
And that's the thing, God, boys and girls, if you're listening and like, we're happy ass people, bro. Like fun covery. That's what this is all
I
about, man.
got
I'm having fun.
recovering
I'm
fever.
telling you, man.
I'm
Like this
burning
dude's
up.
making songs. Like we're doing it here, man. So have I ever found myself taking my recovery for granted? If so, how did I bring myself back to a place of humility and gratitude? Well, humility and love are my two things, and gratitude kind of holds the whole thing together. But yeah, there were times where and how I thought about this question was, and I didn't really realize it at first, but I started getting judgmental and irritable in the rooms and in the meetings that I was going to, and a little stagnant, right? Like maybe, and I had the same home group for a little while, and it was special. They got me to the where I got, but it was my second home group coming out of treatment, and some things had happened, and I almost was looking at it as that being the only group available because I didn't almost leave the program, but I started having these thoughts of that the program might not be for me, and there was that little bit of creep of doubt in it,
That's
where
almost leaving the program.
well, the initial thoughts of that came through, and then I remember a group of us from that home group started attending other meetings, and it's kind of crazy because it rolls right into my question. Um, I started realizing I was getting a little complacent, and I started realizing that I wasn't very grateful for just the little things, just being able to be free and be able to think on my own and be able to wake up when I want to, and not when somebody tells me to, be able to go to sleep when I want to, and not be able to, when I want to, and not when somebody tells me to. That shit can go away like that, man. We cannot have those things like that, right? And I started losing track of that a little bit. And what happened is one of the ladies that I was very, very close to, I was really, really close with this chick, man. She was amazing. She was so amazing. I think I had less than a year. She had 3 years. She had just hit 3 years. And she was the service queen at this home group, man. She did service 2 to 3 times a week. And I couldn't even have seen this home group survive like without her until she came on one day after not being there for a few days. And bro, she just was crying and said, "My name is Sarah, and I have one day, I'm coming back, and I have one day, not even one day clean." And the whole room started crying, man. The whole room lost it. Like we were like, no, like there's no way. Like she was the only strong woman in this group, and that really kind of ignited things for me, because I'm like, bro, if this could happen to her, she had like 5 kids that she was homeschooling every day. Like, I'm like, if she could relapse, like, I need to fucking really get on my shit, you know? So that was kind of the thing that really made me realize that I was getting into that complacent spot. I was getting into that place where I was just going through the motions, and I hadn't really realized that. I was getting restless. I was getting irritable. And that was kind of the jarring thing that happened, man, that got me to realize that I wasn't working my program anymore. I wasn't concentrating on all those things that got me to this point where I was taking my clean time for granted. I had like 9 months clean, and I thought that was nothing sauce. And this girl relapsed, and then I'm going, I have 9 months, she has none. And it really put things in perspective, all the shit I've been through there for that 9 months. It brought me back to knowing where I needed to be and being grateful for the things that I have today, because I didn't have them and I didn't think I was ever going to get them back. Just the little things, man. Um, so we walked away from that meeting, having to reel and get people in place to cover her spots and all that stuff. And it was just a kind of a crazy thing, but it was that first time where we all went, man, that shit could happen to me. And then it really made me realize I had to tighten up on my program, and I ended up getting like a new sponsor after that. It really kind of shook things up for me. So started praying too, man. I wasn't really into prayer, because my new sponsor really got me praying and got me into and humility. Humility is not thinking less of myself; it's thinking of myself less. Right? It's not, humility. We talk about that a lot. And this time thing, Milan, I wanted to hit on this too. Like time, that's the only currency we spend, man, without ever knowing the ending balance. Time is so important, Milan. Time. We never know when that shit's going to end, right? And time, what does time stand for? TIME. Things I must earn. Time. I love you, man. I wanted to throw that in there.
So,
hey, and if you don't make time for your illness, you will be, or if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness. Holler at your boy.
so we're going to do a little sidebar here for a minute. I really want to say something, and it's something that you and I have talked about a lot. And I heard it put the greatest way ever on the speaker session the other day. In fact, I sent you that one. I don't know if you listened to that one, but here's the deal. It is of the utmost importance that we go to meetings and show the message, show a positive situation, show unity, and not and the reason is, okay, less than 2% of addicts make it to a room, right? So
Yeah.
so statistically,
Mm.
how you're behaving in front of any newcomer statistically is the one chance you have of saving their life. So acting selfishly and with bad manners, with not creating an inviting experience, with dumping your mess on them when they need so desperately to hear a message of change, is the most self-centered thing you can do. It's like putting a loaded gun to someone's head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I heard it put like that, like it
I
is
agree.
literally your one chance to save that person's life. So
Yeah.
you better take that responsibility and cherish that. cherish that opportunity.
Your words might be the only representation of this basic text they ever see or hear, ever. Right. So,
It might
and
be
look,
the difference between them going out and dying that night or not. So
bro,
it's like if you think it's okay just to go and take a big trauma dump on their day, that is not
bro,
carrying the message. It literally says carrying the message to another person. It does not say drag the message along behind your mess.
and we got to think about this. We prayed these people in here. We prayed these newcomers in here. We have to watch how we communicate with each other in these rooms, right? And that goes to your point.
We have to
What?
create an environment of love, acceptance,
Yes.
trust, unity, all these things.
We just prayed them in. We just prayed them in. Why are you going to talk to them like that and treat them in a way where you want to push them out? We just prayed them in here, right? And our words are so powerful, Milan, and you just got me hyped up. We don't understand how powerful our words are until we do, right? Our words have the ability to transform our life, not only our life, somebody else's life, right? Be impeccable with your words. Mean what you say and say what you mean, and say it with intent, but always do it for the right reasons. We're not here to bash anybody. We don't shoot our wounded here in these rooms, man.
I come to the meeting to try to have the opportunity to share a fraction of these miracles that I'm figuring out week by week by week.
Because maybe there's a chance you're going to hear something.
Like it, whatever I've come to understand through this program has come from pain and come from a lot of self-education through it. I'm not someone who's like, I'll go to one meeting a week. I think about this shit all the time. I think about it in my songs. I think about it on these podcasts. I think about it at the meetings. And I'm not saying I'm some recovery guru.
That's your process.
But what I'm saying is that some of these tools I've learned are the most valuable thing in my life right now. And if I have any chance of sharing that with you, and if you have any chance of understanding it, I'm not going to make you dig through a turd pile to find it.
Well, a 90 and 90 is a joke to me right now, man. And I'm 3 years clean, in 90 meetings in 90 days is not enough for my program. You know what I mean? I used a lot of drugs. I go to a lot of meetings. I do a lot of recovery, man. And I have people that ask me about it, but the people that love me, now when they see me not in recovery or in a room or in a meeting, they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Why aren't you in a meeting? Why aren't you, you know what I mean? It comes back around. The people that love you see that you're working on yourself. And I got people like my mother asking me how to work 12 steps.
And you know what? And if you're new and you're lost, give me a call. I'll sit down and I'll read the book with you. I'll bore you, but
Me
I'll
too.
go
I'm
page.
accessible.
I'll
We're
go
accessible.
page for page with someone on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I have an annotated textbook.
But don't run away because you see somebody being a jerk. Because you know what? There'll be a jerk everywhere in the world.
Yep.
But you know what? If I'm in that room, you can come and get a hug from me every day.
Yep. You know you can get some love from my way. So just look us up. Look, if you're in this lane, if you're in this recovery game, if you're trying to recover and stay clean one day at a time, both Milan and I are very, very, very accessible. You can find out how to get a hold of us. We're here. We're here to help, man. We're here to help. We love you. Where are we going with this? Because we gotta wrap it down here soon, right?
Okay,
Or
so
no?
then let's go lightning round right
Let's
now.
do it.
We're
Let's
lightning
do it.
round. Okay, you're the next question asker.
Oh, am I? Yes. So, sorry about this.
It's okay. I'm pulling up the timer. So
what are some? That's not the one. Okay, so
that's not the one.
what's something or someone that you? Okay, what's something or someone that you lost during active addiction that you wish you could thank now, and how does this loss impact you in a way that values your recovery today?
Well, I'll probably say my friend Darcy. And, he literally got a fentanyl hotshot in his Coke and died. And, if I had a time machine, I'd probably try to take him to a meeting, man.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So my answer, someone or something that I lost in active addiction that I wish that I could thank now, and how does this loss impact me in a way that could value my recovery today? I lost a good friend of mine, Paulie, that passed, man. Beautiful man that passed. He was an addict, but he did not pass from addiction. We thought he did, but he actually ended up having a freak accident, and it happened. So it was beautiful. He was able to get buried with his infinity chip. I was able to tap into the funeral through Zoom. It was pretty cool, man, because he doesn't live anywhere near me now. So yeah, love you, Polly, man. That's who I miss. I miss him. Wish I could thank him. But he's gave me, showed me love, taught me how to smile. Said smile is contagious, and you never know when somebody falls in love with your smile. So don't stop smiling. He was a beautiful dude, man. Love that guy.
Love that. Recovery teaches us what we have is enough, not because it's perfect, but because we are finally awake to it. How has your perception of enough changed in recovery?
Bro, just staying clean for today is enough. You know, I'm really taking on that thing, man. If you woke up before me today, you got more clean time than me today. This is a just for today program, bro. You know what I mean? Just staying in a meeting and not using is enough. You know what I mean? That's very, very important, that you have to understand that just staying clean for today in a just for today program is enough. Now, you rope a couple of those along, or you can get your life back and more. You know, you can have everything you want in this program if you just stay clean just for today and tomorrow and the next day. But you just do it for that day. Don't worry about future tripping. We got to out surrender this thing. It's a program of surrender, not self-improvement. I'll hit it every day. And look, you got to stay faithful. Stay faithful. And faith is just proof that we believe in God's voice over our own vision. So love you, man.
Love you too. Recovery teaches us that what we have is enough, not because it's perfect, but because we are finally awake to it. How has my perception of enough changed in recovery? So I was definitely caught up in the future and the past. And so there was never enough because I could always create this future need, and I could never push and create and manifest enough to ever fill that future need, because it was always like my empire had to grow. And now, learning to live more presently, like having that meal I'm having right now. I don't need food for 6 months. And I can enjoy that meal, and I can enjoy this podcast right now with Andrew. I'm not planning 1,000 podcasts from now. I am planning to go to a meeting from here, but that's just more
Me
recovery,
too.
and I
Me
love
too.
that.
Me too. Me too. Me
Yeah.
too. Yeah. So you want me to ask?
Yep. Yeah,
Have you
you
ever
ask
had
one more, I'll ask one more, then we'll be done.
this is a crazy question. I got a weird question. Have you ever had a gratitude wake up call? A moment when you were hit with the realization that you had you had and weren't appreciation. I'm so stupid. Have you ever had a gratitude wake up call? Essentially, a moment when you were hit with the realization of what you had and you weren't appreciating. What happened and how did it change you?
So definitely, with my sponsor, it was shortly after the Great Resurrendering in March 2025. I was, still experiencing quite a bit of anxiety and stress about some things in my life that I was really, unfortunately, trying to work on myself. And so what I learned was that I was not expressing any gratitude for the coping skills that I was already having in that moment. I was not expressing the gratitude for the incremental amount of survival that was already being provided by the universe for me. I was already not saying thank you for what I had now. And why would anybody want to give me more if I'm not grateful for that?
Ooh, did you just drop the mic on me?
I just right in your lap. It's like a hot potato.
You just dropped the mic on me at the end there. Oh God, dang. All right, so what, have I ever had a gratitude wake up call or a moment when you were hit with the realization that I wasn't appreciating? Bro, on the little things, man. I've been at work and been getting like yelled at by my boss, and then I'm wanting to blow the whole thing up, and then I realized and I've been so close to telling somebody, my boss to just go F themselves, man. And like I work in a doctor's office, and that would not be the right thing to do, burning bridges and things like that. But just leaving my job in general, I started thinking, like there was one time I went out to my car and I started thinking about I played the tape through, man. I played the tape through, and I started thinking about going to get another job, and just I thought about where I was, and it really gave me it just gave me a fresh look on where I should just be proud of where I'm at, and just go back in there, apologize, and I apologized to my boss, man. I went in there, I do not like this person. I don't like this lady. And I went in there and I genuinely apologized to her and looked her in the face and I told her I was sorry for my part. She doesn't know how to say sorry. So I wasn't expecting a sorry back, but it changed how I was going forward at that workplace. Had kept it good since. So
I forgot to start the timer, but I think that was about a minute.
that's cool.
Okay, last question here, and this one ties into with the show title. Freedom rises not when we get everything we want, but when we recognize everything we already have. What blessings are you choosing to see more clearly right now, even in their smallest form, Mr. Andrew, brother, Sweet Peach, Virginia Beach?
Bro, I'm so grateful just for being in this moment with you, man. Being in this moment for you. I'm grateful for waking up in the morning when God sees fit, and not somebody racking me out of bed in cell block D. I'm grateful for him allowing me to go to sleep last night when he saw fit. He let me go to sleep a little late last night, but that's okay. I was helping out a sponsee last night, or a potential sponsee that is looking to be sponsored. So, man, I have an opportunity today to help young men grow, and young ladies, young women too. There's young women that I'll sponsor any. I have had a woman sponsee in the past, but I realized very quick that wasn't going to work out because we don't have the same parts. And so when they have problems with their parts, can't tell them what their problems with their parts are, and they can't tell them what problems with my parts are. I don't even know how we got onto that, but I love
Whoa.
you, and that's what.
That's a good, interesting twist.
She was pregnant. She was pregnant, about to have a baby, and she asked me to be her sponsor, and I said yes, like a dumbass.
Okay.
Look, yeah, we can have a podcast on that.
Freedom rises not when you understand placentas. No. Freedom rises not when we get everything we want, but when we recognize everything we already have. What blessings are you choosing to see more clearly right now, even in their smallest form? You know, really, after a series of injuries this year, I'm really the ability to walk is something that I'm really grateful for, because that is well, I should have started the timer.
You do it a lot.
I do it a lot, but it's because every other type of exercise at my age was making an injury, and if it goes from exercise to nothing, nothing is always falling back, you know. And but the thing right now, I would say that I'm really the most satisfied with is my coping abilities and how my anxiety is going down. How you know, I'm learning to love more than to be angry, and and just how I'm learning to surrender instead of try to control all the moments, because I was just trapped in that struggle against the defects until the great resurrendering of 2025. Man, this was a lot of fun today.
I want to say one thing. Look, laugh. Let's all understand God himself. Your next move matters more than your last mistake. And one more thing, you can't bring medicine to people who love to be sick.
Tune in next episode for more recovery fun. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
We love you. Please help us help others. If you like what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan South Okanagan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.